Hello and welcome to Frankly Speaking, Justice Gogoi. Should I call you Justice Gogoi or should I call you the newest member of parliament nominated by the president? Justice Gogoi, are you taken aback by the criticism that's been done about your nomination, or were you expecting it?
You have an option of calling me Justice Gogoi or Mr. Gogoi. Madam, what has happened in the last 2-3 days is amazing. It appears I have dropped an atom bomb and the whole country has disintegrated. Rajya Sabha membership by nomination under Article 80, which the President, on the aid and advice of the Council of Ministers, thought should be an honor that should be given to me. And when that honor had come, obviously you can't refuse.
What's so obvious about not being able to refuse it, Justice Gogoi? Because as a former Chief Justice of India, you have presided over several issues, several cases, and it was probably the most powerful job in the country, probably after the Prime Minister's job. Why would you, after having held that job, that position, join the Rajya Sabha as a member of parliament?
Ma'am, I am in full agreement with you. I have been telling a lot of people, and my colleagues in particular, that there are two posts or positions in this country which matter: the Prime Minister and the Chief Justice of India. Now, tell me how the judgments or the position that I have held until 18th of November has anything to do with my nomination to the Rajya Sabha. I would be very happy if you tell me what is the connection between the two. I have completed my term. I have delivered my judgments. The judgments were unanimous. There were 3 other judges on the bench. They agreed. It was a common order. I completed my tenure, went into retirement. The President recalled me from my retirement, required my services for 60 days in a year in the Rajya Sabha. I read the Constituent Assembly debates on Article 80, and I found that this is really a call for service to enlighten and elevate the debates on my area of specialization. That's all. What the cases have got to do with this?
All right. So let's come straight to the cases.
Just a second. Is it some kind of a post-retirement package? Is it some kind of a post-retirement package? If it had been, would I have settled for membership of the Rajya Sabha? Come on, ma'am. Give your former Chief Justice of India a better sense of proportion.
So, Justice Gogoi, critics have come out and written in various newspapers. There have been editorials, there have been op-ed articles. One of them says the government, in a brazen contravention of all propriety, has given Justice Gogoi a nomination to the Rajya Sabha. He has been shameless enough to accept it. In doing so, he has not just cast doubt on his own judgment, character and probity, he has dragged down the entire judiciary with him. How do you respond to such sharp criticism?
Very well. If Justice Gogoi had been given an assignment, say like the Law Commission or the NCLAT, which is now vacant, or the Human Rights Commission, which is going to be vacant in December, then the judiciary would not have been compromised, the judgments would not have been compromised. So the Chief Justice of India, once he completes its tenure, is because he is incapacitated from rendering his service to the nation. Is that the way the country should go ahead? Is that the way the constitution should be answered? Is that the way values should be built up? To destroy
But sir, somebody,
Yes, ma'am.
somebody who wrote in favor of various issues that came up during your tenure, the former law minister, the former finance minister, Mr. Arun Jaitley himself, held the view that judges should not be given appointments post-retirement because that directly influences their decisions when they are holding the chair of a judge. Do you now say that he was wrong when he said this? Or things change when you're in the opposition benches and then they change when you come to the treasury benches?
There is no question of opposition, treasury bench, etc., etc. I am a nominated member of the Rajya Sabha. I know where the constraints are. Now, Madam, may I ask you a question? I have asked this to other channels and other journalists. Is the nomination to the Rajya Sabha a post-retirement employment?
Isn't it?
I am really sorry. This is not correct. What are these values? Where are these ideas coming from? You attend the session 60 days in a year out of 365 days, right? Your package is less or equivalent to the post-retirement package of a CJI, correct? You get accommodation which is 4 stages below what you got as the CJI. And then you call it a post-retirement package, and it's a benefit conferred for judgments written by the Chief Justice of India. This is a view that only the enemies of this country can take.
So do you think Mr. Kapil Sibal is an enemy of the country? Because he has said, let us not go into the legality of the appointment. It will be wrong to question and get the wrong answer for this. The issue is of public perception and confidence of the people in the judicial system. We have seen a lot of controversies on Ranjan Gogoi when he was the Chief Justice of India, very unsavory controversies. One day on a holiday, he presides over the Supreme Court bench in respect of his own case. He's gone out chapter and verse. So do you think Mr. Kapil Sibal, a man who may have appeared before you several times in your tenure as the Chief Justice of India, is an enemy of the country?
Kapil Sibal, as an individual, I would not like to comment. But I don't know whether I did the right thing or the wrong, and whether I'm facing the consequences today because of that. But after the press conference, he had come to my residence to seek the Supreme Court support for the impeachment motion against Dipak Mishra. I refused entry to him into the house.
That's a huge revelation. He wanted the former Chief Justice to support him. At that time, you were a judge who was waiting in the wings to be elevated.
I was not a Chief Justice. I was judge.
Yes.
I was judge. Madam, I was judge number 3, and my residence was 10th January Marg.
And Kapil Sibal, what did he tell you?
He didn't get an entry into the house. But in the evening, I got a message that he would be coming for this, and I said, don't let him come. Yet he came.
And did he say this personally to you, that he wanted your support for the impeachment of Justice Dipak Mishra?
I did not. He could not gain entry into my residence. How could he have told me personally?
So then how do you know this is what he wanted to say?
Because in the evening there was a phone call saying that he would be coming for this matter, and I told and I advised the person who called me that don't permit him to come. Don't let him come.
The press conference that you held with the 3 other brother judges at that time, Justice Lokur, Justice Chalameshwar, on the Loya matter, gave confidence to the opposition that you would probably play their game more than anybody else's?
I don't know, and I do not understand what is the game of the politicians. I am not a politician. The press participation was in the press conference was prompted by my sincere belief that things should be set right.
So you think there was some truth in the Judge Loya case?
Things did. I really wouldn't know about that. There was the issue was not only Judge Loya, the issue was the manner in which the cases were being distributed. And Justice Dipak Mishra was kind enough and he rectified and made corrections.
So, Justice Gogoi, let me also ask you, the criticism that has been leveled against you by a certain lobby, and I'm calling them a lobby because you've referred to them as a lobby, and you've said that the independence of the judiciary was actually about breaking the strangled hold of half a dozen people who had control over the judiciary. Who are these people, Justice Gogoi, who are holding the judiciary to ransom?
You know them, I know them, why should we name them?
Why not, sir? This country has a right to know who is compromising the judiciary of this country.
You name them, you know them. You are up and about. You are a highly active journalist. You know, you tell them.
Justice Gogoi, you've been nominated.
One name you just mentioned.
One name that I just mentioned. Are you referring to Mr. Kapil Sibal?
You have mentioned it, yes.
So you're saying he's leading this lobby which is compromising the judiciary? That's a huge charge.
Madam, tell me one thing. Independence of the judiciary from what? From the executive? From the politicians? Now,
or from the money bags?
What about these very subtle forms of yes, all the money bags, but let me tell you something more, some more other subtle forms of pressure. Suppose you are hearing a case which is very controversial, which is very sensitive, and in the midst of the hearing, the social media expresses views, tweets, this is what it should be, this is what that should be, we expect this, we expect that. Does it not compromise the independence of the judiciary? Do you think judges have come from heaven? They don't read the social media? It does not affect them even subconsciously? What about what if these tweets and expressions of opinions affect the judgment that finally is delivered? Can you rule that out? Is that not compromising the judiciary? Is it that not controlling the judiciary? Check up the social media. How many people are tweeting on pending cases and the merits of the judgment? These are the people who would like each judgment of the Supreme Court and the High Courts to come in a particular way. And the moment the judge decides it the other way, he becomes what? He becomes an agent of the government. What is the system going on? What is going on? Who has done anything about it? Who has spoken about it? I am the first one, and I'll keep speaking about it. Justice
Gogoi, in your experience, have you seen your brother judges being influenced by either social media expressions, opinions, or other inducements?
Madam, I will not comment on that. I continue myself to be, I consider myself to be still a part of the judiciary. I have to maintain a balance, but I may tell you one thing, my brother judges are also humans, as I am.
Justice Gogoi, you are now a member of parliament. I think as a former Chief Justice, you understand that your role in the judiciary is now over. You are now a representative of the President representing the people of India. And that is why eminent jurists like yourself, if that's the reason you're saying, because the nominations are for eminence in various walks of life, then there can be nobody more eminent than you who can speak about this issue, because anybody who's holding the chair will not speak about it. You have now donned the mantle of the people's representative, so you should speak about it, because this country has a right to know.
That's exactly why I have opted to be a member of parliament.
So tell us today,
whenever
on Frankly Speaking,
arises, I'm going to tell the people of the country
speak frankly and tell people who are these people who are having a stranglehold.
What I am? I thought I was. Yes. Yes, madam. What is your question?
I'm saying you must name the people who have a stranglehold over the judiciary.
We'll do it. We'll do it. If required, I'll name it in Parliament, not in the media.
All right. So you're going to name. You've named only one person who is an opposition leader, and that could be your biggest criticism, that you could only find one. You've named half a dozen others, but you're not wanting to name them today. And you know, when you have joined, you've taken oath as a member of Parliament of Rajya Sabha. I think you owe it to the people of this country.
Yes, I will discharge my duties as and when the occasion arises. And I would prefer to do it on the floor of the House whenever the occasion arises.
Many people have come out, and these have been your former colleagues, these have been judges in the past who've held various offices. There has been Justice Karchu, there have been statements made by your brother judges like Justice Lokur and Justice Joseph, and of course Justice AP Shah. Each one of them have said that you have reduced the majesty of the judiciary by accepting this in return for what they say are some of the decisions that may have been taken in your tenure as Chief Justice of India.
Madam, you are going around and around the same question. Now, but before I answer that question, let me tell you something about Justice Karchu. I think he's irrelevant. Ignore him. Justice Kurian Joseph and Justice Madan Lokur, who were my good friends, they have their own problems, failed ambitions. As far as Justice AP Shah is concerned, the champion of independence of judiciary, it's a matter of record. There are 3 allegations against him for which his name was not recommended for Supreme Court. One deal with a film star. The other 2 deals with property deals. One matter came to the Supreme Court, 2008. I have the number of that case. Apply under RTI. You will get all the details. Property worth hundreds of crores were sold in auction for a song.
You're
approved, sitting in chambers. Madras High Court, Chief Justice AP Shah. Today, along with Kurian Joseph and Madan Lokur, he defends the independence of judiciary. Nothing more I would like to add.
Those are serious charges that you are making. I also want to ask you, you said failed ambitions of Justice Lokur.
It's a matter of record. These are matters of record. Check up, apply under RTI, you get everything.
Okay, and you also refer to the failed ambitions.
So far as failed ambition is concerned, madam, one second. So far as failed ambitions are concerned, that's a perception. Like the perception of Justice Kurian and Justice Lokur, that my accepting the nomination is the downfall of the judiciary. These are perceptions. So far as Justice AP Shah is concerned, it's a matter of record.
Well, I want to ask you, Justice Ranjan Gogoi, in 2019, you yourself said there is a viewpoint that post-retirement appointment in itself is a scar on judicial independence. And it is a strong view, you said.
Madam, you are going around and around. I told you 2 or 3 times that I don't consider a nomination to the Rajya Sabha as a post-retirement employment. If there was a need for post-retirement employment, there were other posts. I mentioned those: Law Commission, NCLAT, Human Rights. This is not a post. This is This is an opportunity to serve on being called upon by the president of the country. You don't refuse the president.
Even if he's advised by
That is the tradition.
political
These are the
class.
principles.
He's advised by the Council of Ministers. The Council of Ministers belong to a particular party. Does that not make it a political appointment?
Yes. Madam, the constitutional scheme is that the president of the country is a constitutional president. He works with the aid and advice. If you think that there is something wrong in that, change the constitution. The Chief Justice of India is appointed by the President after his name is cleared by the Prime Minister. Does it make that the appointment of the Chief Justice is made by the Prime Minister? The Prime Minister of the country is an elected representative. 1.3 billion people of this country have reposed their faith in them. Whether you like him personally or you approve of his policies, that's another matter. He is a representative of the people. That's what the constitutional scheme is all about. Where do you get an American like a president like the American system? What is this aid and advice of the Council of Ministers? That's the scheme under the Constitution.
Justice Gogoi, I also want to ask you about the judgments, and two specific judgments that I want to refer to. One is the Ayodhya judgment. Ayodhya and the construction of the Ram Mandir was a huge political promise. The judiciary heard this matter 5 days a week. From Monday to Friday, you heard it for a long period of time. I want to ask you, did you think that matters of the common man were not as important for the Supreme Court at that point in time? Did you think that matters of personal liberties of people who had lost them in Jammu and Kashmir after the virtual abrogation of Article 370 were not important at that point in time? So much time given to Ayodhya so that the case was concluded in your tenure as the Chief Justice of India. That's the allegation your critics have leveled. How do you respond?
If you don't hear and decide a case, you are criticized. If you hear and decide a case at fast track a case, you are also criticized. What does the Chief Justice of India do? Either way, he is going to be criticized. This was a matter which has been pending for long. It had come before the earlier bench headed by Justice Dipak Mishra. Arguments did not take place. There was a request. We considered it. We thought this is a matter which should be fast-tracked. And since we started the hearing, once we started the hearing, we thought we should fast-track it even more because my retirement was due in November and we started the hearing in July. Nothing more, nothing less than that.
But sir,
it is just a question of judicial discretion, which case should be heard first. So far as the Kashmir matter is concerned, yes, I did tell the court that I don't have the time. This is because I was hearing the Ayodhya matter. But as I said earlier, I immediately on the next day entrusted or allocated the Kashmir matter to another bench for hearing. What happened thereafter is for that bench to say. So you give one part of the story. Chief Justice says, I have no time for Kashmir. You don't give the other part of the story. The Chief Justice had allocated the case to another bench the next day. That part you don't know because that takes place in the chamber of the Chief Justice.
Justice Gogoi, I want to ask you, you just a short while ago said that what happens on social media, what happens in a country, about what the country thinks, the Prime Minister is somebody who's chosen by the majority in this country. Did that weigh on your mind and influence the judgment on Ayodhya?
Come on, madam, that's hardly a question worth answering. If it ever did, I would have been failing in my duty as a judge. Because a parliamentary enactment is passed by the majority, can it any way influence the judge that it has the mandate of the majority of the people of the country? You decide the case as per law. The reference to the Prime Minister being the representative of the people of the country was in the context of appointments.
You just said that judges are human and sometimes opinions and majority opinions can influence because judges are human. It's a statement made by you, not by me. So I'm saying, did it influence you in your mind? Did it put some pressure on your mind?
No, it did not. It did not. It did not. Madam, what you say is a possibility. But then you must realize one thing, that by the time you come to the Supreme Court and become the Chief Justice of India, or even if you are a judge of the Supreme Court, you would have put in at least 15, 16 years of tenure in the High Courts. And you have disciplined your mind to shut out certain areas. But at the same time, you can't rule out the possibility, you are right, you can't rule out the possibility of this and that unseen influence working on the mind of the judge. But as far as I'm concerned, I am making it very clear. I lay down my own standards. I follow my own principles. Nothing ever has influenced me in the almost 20 years of my tenure. And I can tell you and tell your viewers that as far as I am concerned, the judiciary of this country is absolutely pure. Nobody has spoken to me about any case and to decide anything in any particular way. All my judgments, orders, even if they are wrong, are my own.
Sir.
And that is what I think a judge should be.
Sir, I think you're contradicting yourself. On the one hand, you say that the judiciary is in the stranglehold of a few people. You say that opinions expressed on social media on issues that the judges are hearing at that point in time, and all judges are human, yet on the other side you say that none of this influences any judge and everybody is pure. So one of your statements is not right. Which one should people believe in?
I did not say the later part. I said it should not. And as far as I am concerned, it has not. Whether it has influenced somebody else, that I cannot say. As far as I am concerned, nothing of this, in spite of best efforts of all concerned, have affected me or has affected my judgments. I can only speak for myself. It's a matter of open secret, the kind of influences that are being sought to be put on judges. Whether it's affected them, it's not affected them, it's for the judges to say, it's for you to decide, it's for the people of this country to decide.
So Justice Gogoi...
And that decision of yours and the people of the country would be on the quality of the judgments coming.
So Rafale matter as well. The Rafale matter was a matter that came up just ahead of the Lok Sabha elections. There was a hurry in which the judgment was given, sealed cover notes, and that is the question Mr. Kapil Sibal has also asked. He is your colleague in the Rajya Sabha now. And he has in a tweet said, after taking oath, should you explain in detail to the media why you accepted and presided over your own cause, which is the sexual harassment case, sealed cover jurisprudence, electoral bond issue which was not taken up, clean chit on Rafale, removal of the CBI director. There are 5 questions he's asked you.
Ask one question, one by one. Ask one by one.
You presided over your own case in the sexual harassment case that was against you. You summoned the court on a holiday. You presided over that case. Yes, another judge was with you, but you sat and presided over your own case. And that is the charge against you. No Bishakha guidelines, which the Supreme Court itself has set for organizations in the private sector, which may have even only 20 employees, had to go through with the Honorable Court's decision on Bishakha guidelines. Why were they not followed by the Supreme Court and the Chief Justice himself?
Madam, I'm glad you asked this question. But let us keep it brief, because it pains me. I am a human being, I am a family man, it pains me. I also convened the court to deliver the Ayodhya verdict on a Saturday, though Monday was a working day. Why? Because I always believe that extraordinary situations demanded extraordinary action. Here were allegations of sexual harassment raised against the Chief Justice of India for the first time. I was sure that this was an attempt to destabilize the office with so many crucial things coming. Therefore, I thought it appropriate to convene a sitting on a Saturday. There were 3 judges. See what order was passed. I was not a signatory to the order. In the Supreme Court, when 3 judges sit, the proceedings can be conducted by 2 and signed by 2. So far as Vishaka guidelines, etc., is concerned, Madam, the Vishaka guidelines have been engrafted into a law, Prevention of Sexual Harassment at Workplaces Act. Look at the law and you will find for yourself it doesn't apply to the Supreme Court judges or the Chief Justice. There is a set of guidelines framed pursuant to Binu Tamata's case by the order of the Delhi High Court for sexual harassment of non-employees in the Supreme Court. That doesn't apply because this person was an employee. There was an inquiry under the in-house procedure. The in-house procedure is available on the Supreme Court website. Madam, you must have read it. If not, please read it. No witnesses, no cross-examination. If the report is adverse, the judge is asked to step down. If he does not, the matter goes to the President for taking the impeachment route. If the report of the committee is in favor, the report of the committee goes in sealed cover. That is the decision of the Supreme Court in Indira Jai Singh's case, 2004. The Supreme Court said the report should not be made public because it has the potential of doing more harm than good. Bringing allegations against a sitting judge is not a very difficult matter. You need a person, you need a lawyer, and you need a couple of digital platforms. The damage is done. Whether the judge is exonerated, discharged, the damage is done. The media and the public have enough to gossip about. This is what this case is all about. The 3-member committee, which is the committee constituted in accordance with the law prevailing, dismissed the charges. The matter has been closed. It has attained finality. But yet you will keep on bringing it up.
No, sir. I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying, but I want to ask you two.
Now, one second, let me complete. Madam, I will refuse to answer any further question if you don't let me complete.
Please complete.
I told you, let's keep it brief. Every day of my tenure, this matter was brought up by somebody or the other, in some forum or the other, not to allow the Chief Justice of India to hear cases in a right frame of mind. Madam, there are talks about lack of opportunity of natural justice, why it was not entrusted to retired judges, why advocates were not allowed. This is because the procedure prescribed by law does not permit it. Your or my comprehension of inadequacies, if any, in the law does not make the law bad. If there are inadequacies, change it, but don't apply the law on an ad hoc basis. Apply the law consistently across the board.
All right. But I just want to ask you, because you've spent your life in interpretation of the law of the land, I just want to ask you two maxims of jurisprudence. Can anyone sit in judgment of his own case?
Yes.
And number two, the maxim is, justice is not only done, but it has to be seen to be done. Do you think these two maxims were adhered to in this case?
Yes. I answer the question that justice has to be done, must also appear to be done, but justice must also be done in accordance with law. Otherwise there will be anarchy, madam. There will be anarchy. You will let public opinion decide the course of justice and not law. Would you like that anarchy to come to the country?
Question number 2 by Kapil Sibal is about sealed cover jurisprudence. In the Rafale matter, which was followed, everything was given in a sealed cover, and the people of this country are none the wiser about what happened.
The sealed cover procedure was also adopted in the 2G scam cases, madam. Recently, Sanjay Hegde, I hope I have got the name correct, the amicus curiae in the Sahinbag matter, submitted the report in a sealed cover. The judges accepted it. Why that is not questioned by Kapil Sibal? Why that was given in a sealed cover? And do you know what was given in a sealed cover in the Rafale case? Madam, the price of the accessories to the aircraft, missiles, the cost of the missiles, the cost of other equipment, the cost of ammunition on the aircraft. You want this to come in the public domain so that tomorrow Pakistan comes to know of it and they outwit you through the Indian judiciary. I am the leader of the judiciary at that point of time. What is this sealed cover procedure? It's being followed wherever public interest demands. Public interest is what the Chief Justice of India decides, not anybody else.
What about the electoral bond issue?
If the Chief Justice of India is to fall prey to all these opinions, God help the country.
Sir, what about the electoral bond issue and
Question
the removal
number 3.
of the CBI director?
Electoral bond issue, I don't remember, frankly. So far as removal of CBI director is concerned, look at it. Prashant Bhushan and company, when Alok Kumar was appointed, they were the strongest critics. When he was being removed, they were the strongest critics against his removal. What is this? Have some consistency. He, like Justice Gogoi, he was good after the press conference. Somewhere down the line, he became a rotten apple. Alok Kumar was bad to begin with. But down the line, he became your angel.
So who changed?
The epitome of virtue. I am no personal comments on Alok Kumar. I think he's a good officer.
So who changed? Alok Kumar and Justice Ranjan Gogoi, or did the critics change their mind?
I beg your pardon, madam?
I said, when they started praising you and after that called you a rotten apple, Justice Ranjan Gogoi, I want to ask you, who changed in the interim? Did the opposition's goalpost change, or did Ranjan Gogoi himself change?
I did not change. 20 years of my judgeship, I did not change. Right? The perceptions changed because I remained constant.
You think your tenure in Rajya Sabha...
I did my job the way it should be done.
Justice Gogoi, you sat and judged cases presented to you by some of those people you say have a stranglehold over the judiciary. Today they will be your contemporaries, your colleagues in the Rajya Sabha, and you will be their equal. Do you think the terms of engagement will change?
No, we will carry the battle from the court to the parliament.
All right. So the battle lines are drawn.
The way I conducted the proceedings in court. They may not like the way I speak in parliament. It doesn't bother me.
Well, so we are looking forward to fireworks in parliament, and we're hoping, because as the media, I'm asking you this on behalf of our viewers, on behalf of every citizen of India, that we would want Justice Gogoi to take this to the conclusion and name those people who you say will be named on the floor of parliament, who have a stranglehold over the judiciary and who are influencing the judiciary on a daily basis. Well, thank you, Justice Gogoi. Thank you for joining me on Frankly Speaking.
Thank you, but through your channel, may I tell something to your viewers?
Yes, sir.
My appeal to your viewers is, be responsible, which you are. Trust your judges. And to the journalists, you have a huge task for this country. You mold public opinion. Be responsible, non-partisan, like the judges.
Thank you, Justice Gogoi.
I see great hope for this country. Let's carry it forward. Thank you, madam. Thank you for everything.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Justice Gogoi, for joining me on Frankly Speaking.